What's up, everybody? Eli Berkovitz here with Alec Fortier with another pre-draft show here talking about the Packers. Obviously, the draft now, 48 hours, right? Alec, basically the first pick will be announced in almost exactly 48 hours from now, which is very exciting. So, as everyone likes to do before the draft, we're going to do a little mock draft, live 7-round mock draft today, but we'll get into that in a minute. Before we do, Alec, how you doing? Obviously, I know you're also preparing to head up to Green Bay for the draft. How's all of draft week going? I know you're in Wisconsin, so what's the vibe up there?
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm actually heading out tomorrow morning at around 10 a.m. to head up to Green Bay. So getting excited for that. But the vibe around here, even like I'm 2 hours south of Green Bay, but um, yeah, it's good. Like everyone's talking about, oh, who's going to the draft, and there's a lot of people around here that are going up there. So
Yeah, it's I kind of at this point I've just like assumed that I don't know, I haven't gone taken a head count, but it seems like many people that you may interact with on a day-to-day basis on Packers Twitter will be in Green Bay. I'm sure everyone will get together. I think tomorrow night as the Pack-A-Day get together with Andy. I'm sure Cheesehead TV is doing something at some point. So everyone will kind of get together, which should be a lot of fun. I'm trying to think right now. There's no real rumors like Packers specific, I would say. I mean, Goody had his press conference as usual, didn't really give much away.
never does.
Anything you took from that press conference that really stood out to you?
A typical Goot press conference. Typical. It's just we believe in the guys we have. We don't really feel we need to add anywhere, but deep down we all know where we need to add, and he's just not going to come out and say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's always funny to see the reactions that people on Twitter give to things that general managers say. Because first thought, unless it's literally like a fact that's already happened, right? Like, oh, we drafted a player. It's already you can't trust anything they say, especially not a day or two before the draft, or not even a matter of trust, but also GMs say the most bland, vague things to just get by the question. So, a lot of fans reacted negatively to when Goody was asked, does he need a first-round pick to have an immediate impact? And he said, no. I mean, it was a longer answer than that, but of course, what gets put out on Twitter is Goody gets asked that question, and he just says no, with no further context. People freak out. But also, I mean, realistically, I would say way more often than not, first-round picks don't contribute as rookies. It's just kind of the way it is. Most rookies don't contribute in the NFL. That's just a fact. But
right.
I think in general, people need to realize that general managers, and some are different, right? Some are a little more straightforward, but we know Goody. Last year, and I'm not saying this is his fault, but last year he literally said right after the season, Aaron Jones will be back next year. Aaron Jones is a part of our future. He's a Packer, whatever he said. Aaron Jones was not, right? They did not end up re-signing Aaron Jones. So I'm not getting nuts about any one thing Goody says. Now, to be honest, I have convinced myself that the way Goody has talked about Van Ness and the edge position, that I kind of don't think they're going to draft an edge in the first round, and they really want Van Ness to work out. But that could be Goody just saying that and hopes an edge falls to him. So who knows? That's just it kind of goes up and down with that stuff. But before we jump into the mock draft, do you have any feelings like that, like what I just said about edge, or anything where it's like fans are really in on a certain position, but you're kind of out of, or maybe you have a surprise position that people aren't talking about?
I mean, not necessarily too much of a surprise, but I feel like there is a chance that they had a running back at some point in this draft, just because, there's 33 running backs roughly with a draftable grade, and that's more than one a team. So the odds that you add one, could see it happening with us.
Yeah,
Other than that, you got to look edge, you got to look corner, you got to look receiver. Those seem obvious, but who knows?
Yeah. I guess actually the one real piece of news sort of from Goody's press conference was what he said about Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. He didn't come right out and say it, but he certainly made it sound like they're both going to have their fifth-year option exercised, or maybe they come to terms on some sort of short extension, similar to what they did with Jordan Love. Instead of giving him the fifth-year option, And I hope they could do that because realistically, as much as I'm I'm a big fan of Devontae Wyatt. I'm a good enough fan of Quay Walker, at least more than most of Packers Twitter, it seems. But I don't know how I would feel about both of them making top 5 money at their position. So I hope at least one of them, they could come to like a 2-year extension or something at a lower money and kind of work that out so it's not 2 fifth-year options. But other than that, I think, like you said, this is going to be the most unsure most Packer fans have been going into the draft. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, we're about, like, I don't have, like, but I really don't know what direction they're going to go in the first round or beyond that. Alec, am I breaking up? Because my screen's going in and out a little bit.
You broke up for a second. Yes.
Uh,
I guess I'll piggyback on what you're saying while we connect. I was just gonna say, like I was talking to you kind of pre-show, I was like, last year at this time, 48 hours out, I had us out of the first 3 picks. I had penciled Edgerrin Cooper and I had penciled Javon Bullard both into my mock draft. And we're coming down to it, and it's like every mock draft I go through, I'm like, well, that could be it. That could be it. Like, there's so many different possibilities this year versus last year.
yeah, I keep doing mocks where you really could, and obviously, look, it all starts at 23, barring a trade up, but that pick is going to have a cascading like effect of where you go in the draft. And I think it's important for the Packers to look at what positions they feel better about later in the draft versus earlier in the draft, because I know I feel a lot better about guys they can get at 23 versus anyone they're going to get at 54. So I guess we'll kind of run through all that. Let me get up the mock draft simulator in here. Bear with me while I share screen. Okay, I know what I'm doing somewhat. Okay. All right here. Okay, so now it should be coming up.
There we go.
All right, there you go. All right, so let's do 7 rounds. I haven't done a lot of 7-round mocks, honestly, so it's pretty exciting. I'm going to put it I usually just kind of put these all somewhat near the middle. Alec, do you ever have a specific kind of way to go on these? I never really know.
Not really. The only one, randomness, I kind of turned down just so that we get a pretty accurate, at least based off the big board.
Yeah, no, I like to usually, because I actually almost feel like, especially this year, there's going to be a lot of randomness. But
Right.
Not
Not all the way down. Just
I don't think. Yeah. So we'll do it about right here, and then the speed. I mean, I don't anticipate any sort of trade up. I feel like also it'll just be easier for the purposes of the mock to not do a lot of trading, but I won't rule it out. So let's just get it started here. I feel like the only player, and Alec, you can tell me if I'm wrong, the only player I think is really worth the trade up would be McMillan, maybe like Will Johnson or Jade Barron got close.
Yeah.
I'm really going to consider.
We don't need to trade up. It's not likely.
Yeah. See, by the way, like, it does never went perfectly, but first pick in every single mock I've done, they do not have Cam Ward going, and it just makes no sense. No matter how I do the settings, I hope he goes here. All right. He usually has to go to the Steelers, but Travis Hunter was the first pick, which is always what happens, and it's pretty strange. But all right, Alex. So here we are, 23. I'm just going to list off here that I think the Packers could be interested in. Matthew Golden getting to 23 could certainly be a very interesting situation. Jalen Walker is never going to be here at 23, and I also don't think the Packers are going to draft him, so it doesn't really matter. Trey Amos is here, someone I think is possible. My favorite guy, Nick Scorton. Unfortunately, I just don't think we'll draft him at 23. I would. I don't think we will. Shamar Stewart, everyone's favorite Raz superstar. And then here, Michael Williams out of Georgia. So definitely a fair amount of realistic picks. Alex, right off at least the names I just read, where does your mind go first?
You know where it's going. I see Shamar Stewart. I'm like, regardless of what people think, that is such a Goody pick, at least for the positional value and as well as the RAS, the athleticism, and then you got the he doesn't ever like to draft the polished guys. We both know that. He likes to draft the potential. That's a pretty Packer pick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, did
Here,
you
I'll
say
go.
Michael Williams?
Yeah, Michael Williams is there. Let me pull up the edge rushers in specific.
Yeah, it
So
seems like
yeah, we
edge.
got James Pierce, Nick Scorton, Shamar Stewart, Michael Williams. I mean, realistically, this would kind of be a dream scenario, at least for Goody, I think, if these four guys were there. Again, I don't think Scorton's going to be the guy he picks out of this group. And I think we both agree James Pierce is not a Packers fit, both in terms of body size, play style. He's just far too productive, makes way too many plays. Goody would hate that. So it's not going to be James Pierce. I don't think so. So really, between this group of four, I think it's Shamar Stewart or Michael Williams. I've
Let's
made
take
it
a look
pretty
at
clear.
corner real quick.
Yeah,
Look,
just
to
to take a quick look at what's left at corner. So we got Trey Amos, Benjamin Morrison, Maxwell Harrison, Siobhan Reynolds. All four guys, at least for sure, three of the four, maybe not Morrison, have all been mocked to the Packers in the first. A pretty fair amount. My of that group is Amos, but I'm also a huge Morrison guy.
I'm Amos.
I would have a hard time drafting Morrison. What was that?
I said I'm an Amos guy first if we do corner in this, at least out of this group.
So the one thing I would say, and the reason why, like, I keep kind of leaning Amos. Number one, Rob Demoski said today, and take it for what it's worth if you trust Rob Demoski. I don't know. I personally mostly do. He said 99.5. Jair Alexander is not on the Packers. So I think Goody, whether Jair's on the roster tomorrow or not, is going into this draft preparing for Jair to not be a Packer, which means I would hope he plans on drafting a corner relatively early. And Alec, maybe you have a different opinion than me about the corner class, but it is really, really ugly once you get past the top 7 to 10 at most. So I'm not opposed to grabbing a corner early because I just feel like the other positions are deeper. But where are you leading Shamar Stewart?
It does seem like a very Goody pick. I mean, if we're doing this based off realistic, he fits pretty much every box that we have.
The question is, and I keep seeing it because Demovsky himself said today when he picked Shamar Stewart in the NFL Insider mock draft on SportsCenter or whatever it was, he said that if Michael Williams was there, he would have been the pick for whatever that's worth, whatever that means to you. I personally, I'm not even a huge fan of Michael Williams, but if it's between the two, well, honestly, I don't know. Between the two, I think obviously Stewart has higher upside, and considering the fact that I'm not a massive fan of either, I could be talked into going with the upside. So I'll say for me, it's either Shamar Stewart or Amos. But I'll defer to you on this first one. Because I do know you're a big Shamar Stewart guy, and I also do feel like he does seem more likely than Trey Amos at 23. It just probably is. So if you wanted to go Stewart, I'm sure a lot of people watching won't be thrilled, but I wouldn't blame you if that's the direction you want.
I know people aren't thrilled with a pick like that, but I mean, how many times have we went through this and it's like a guy like Golden Slips where you're looking at like last year, Cooper DeJean's in your ballpark and you pass on him and it was perfect. You wanted that, and it's like we're sitting here and it's like he fits your athleticism box, he fits your potential box, he fits the size box. But I mean, he just seems more like Amos.
Yeah, that's the main thing is that I'll give it to Stewart because I just feel like if it's between the two, it probably will be Stewart. So let's go Shamar Stewart.
Just the way the board fell.
That would be what?
I said just the way our board fell.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know. I don't know if Stewart even gets to 23 in real life. I think it's certainly possible. Like I don't think it's definitely not a guarantee either. I think at this point, like I've looked at early second round trade ups. There never really seems to be last in the pick before. We just drafted her.
It's all right.
Shavon
Yeah.
Ravel being 54. What do you think about Ravel being here at 54? I think that's kind of interesting. We just drafted an edge, but JT could have been a fun pick.
You see what
It's
I'm
always
seeing?
fun to look. I mean, I'm seeing Ravel, if that's what you're talking about. Are you talking
Seeing that.
about Jalen Royals?
I am also seeing that.
So for me, so let's just, I mean, look, we just drafted edge, so that's off the board.
Right.
So I think we'll take a quick look at corner. Yeah, I think it's Ravel. What's your thoughts on Porter, right? I mean, I feel like at the Senior Bowl you were kind of high on him, but I don't fully remember.
I
I
was.
like him. I'm just concerned. Pac fan in Iowa. I'm sorry that we disappointed you with our pick. I know Packer fans won't be thrilled about it, but at the end of the day, we're trying at least on some level to predict what Goody's going to do. It is not. I mean, I know
Feel
it is what
realistic,
Alec. Yeah, yeah.
right.
But yeah. So, what do you think about? So you're saying you're not concerned about the fact that he has like and he didn't do anything until his 6th year. I don't know. It just makes me a bit concerned.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, the way he tested out. I mean, you saw the speed down at the Senior Bowl. He was, I think the top speed guy. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's the top
one
speed
of the
guy.
top. One of the top, yeah. At least he's very, very fast.
It was like 22, 23 miles an hour he was going on the field. So, and that was like game speed. That wasn't just full out 40. That's your playing speed. So, um, I mean, do you think there's a realistic shot that Revel is actually there at 54?
It wouldn't just the small injury, and also at the end of the day, like this happens, right? People fall, people
Mm-hmm.
receivers. See, the problem for me is this is a dead zone at receiver where it's like I'm a big fan of Jalen Royals, and Kyle Williams and Trey Harris. I just don't know if any of them are 54th overall, second round pick guys. Do you disagree? I mean, do you see any receiver here you would take in the second round?
I would honestly not be opposed to taking Royals in the second round, just
Okay. I mean,
because
I would not either. I'm not sure if they would, but like, look, we took Jaden Reed in the second, and I don't think anyone had him as
that's
a
my
second
point.
round
And
pick.
like, look at the Evan Williams pick last year. Like look how much higher up we
Yeah,
took him.
no, that's true. I mean,
My thing
it's
is like,
not.
you have your guy, you got to go for him, even if it's say it's 10, 15 spots earlier than you think. You got to just take him when you can. And if you keep waiting,
So the
waiting, waiting,
question is, though, do you think you could get a better receiver or a better corner at 87? Right, because my only
let's
thing with not taking a receiver here is that at corner, these top three guys, like I would be okay with. Past that, it gets really tough for me. Like I like Jacob Parrish, but I don't think we're drafting him. He's more of a slot corner. Noel Williams is a solid player, but he's someone that I'm drafting and expecting much from early on in his career. I think any one of Revel, as Zaria Thomas, I'm a fan of. I know his RAS didn't come out great. I still don't think that necessarily rules him out. I think he is someone that would work if Hafley really wants to switch to get more man coverage going. But I'm just nervous that if we don't take a corner now, we're basically not taking a corner, at least not till the fourth, fifth, sixth round.
yeah, I
At
get that point as
receiver,
well.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. Receivers probably going to be the same thing, right? We have to hope that one, at least for me, Royals, Williams, or Harris makes it, or one of the top three corners make it. I mean, Jalen Noel I like, but I just think he's too small for us to draft. So I don't know. I think if Rebel's here, it's really tough to turn that down. I just think it's too much of a value at this point.
Yeah, I'll defer to you on this one. You deferred to me on the first pick. So
I mean, I'll
by
be
all means,
honest, like there's a small part. What was that?
I was gonna say my only thing when I'm looking at this was last year. It's like you go back to the playoff game when it came down to it. Did we lose because of our defense, or did we lose more because of our offense? And I mean, like
I
everyone's
know,
worried
but I
about
just
Jair, but we played most of that year without Jair. You know what I mean?
yeah. My only concern, or not concern, is just that I feel like I don't know if there's enough of a difference for me between Royals and who we might get in the next round as opposed to Ravel and because like again like I don't think any of these three make it to our next pick, and I wouldn't draft anyone else at least probably to like the fifth round. So if we're okay with just basically not drafting a corner, we could do that. But I don't know. I personally I'm always concerned about our corners, and I just don't all the time. So I'm going to go Revel here. I just
I'll defer to
like
you.
he's someone that if it took at 23 or someone took in the 20s. So to get him at 54, I just think the value is too good. Shore up the defense. So 2 picks in, Shamar Stewart, Siobhan Ravel. A pretty solid start, I would say, regardless of kind of how you feel about Shamar Stewart's college production. I think it's at the very least a very high upside start. And now we got to hope that a receiver falls to us.
I just saw Royals went to the Eagles at 64, and then Trey Harris went to the Raiders at 70.
So you're saying that we're screwed here. All right, well, I think Horton could end up being a third round pick. Like that wouldn't shock me, to be honest. Where are you on Horton?
No, I think he definitely. I don't see him ever slipping out of the fourth round, but I think it's definitely possible that he moves himself up into the third, just based on how the. It really depends on how the board falls receiver wise, I guess, for him. But
yeah,
it's looking like he could be a third round pick here based on what the board is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most mocks I see at this that at least go 3 rounds deep, like up into that third range. And let's just, I mean, to take a look at offensive line. I mean, I was kind of like really out on Alfred Collins in the beginning of this process. I've started to like him a lot more. We've already gone defense twice here, but just thought I'd bring it up. Where are you at on Alfred Collins?
Let me look here. I'm looking at where I had Horton ranked.
I have
Horton ranked as a third rounder on my big board, so wouldn't be opposed to Horton.
I mean, I think Horton, Alfred Collins. Where like how urgent do you think tackle is? Because the Packers seem to think it's urgent. I personally don't, but this is a good zone, like Imbo or Marcus Bo, whatever. Wyatt Milam, Charles Grant, Anthony Belton. I believe we had on a 30 visit. Jalen Rivers. I know we met at the Senior Bowl. A lot of these guys, I think, could be options for us and like good fits, especially Milam and Charles Grant. But do you think tackle is needed in the third round, or would you rather go Horton?
At the end of the day, I really don't think our line was the reason that we lost last season. And I mean, you just signed the top guard, so you have a little more flexibility there. Jordan Morgan's should be healthy, so it's like, how much do you want to invest into your line versus your playmakers, and with Watson being out?
Trust me, I'm with you. I have no issue with drafting a developmental tackle. What?
So I'm just thinking this through with you right now because, I'm thinking about the tackle play last year. I didn't think Rasheed Walker did too bad at his spot.
No, I don't think he did bad at all. Like, I'm not even sure why we're meeting with as many offensive tackles as we are with like 30 visits, but we are. Right. So it's a sign that you at least got to consider. But I'm with you because, like, for me, if you don't take Horton now, there's really no one else that I'm like I mean, I like Isaac Tesla. I like Todd Phelps and Pat Bryant, but it's like I think Horton is in a little bit of a different tier than them. So I would take Horton here. You want to take Horton?
I would agree. We need to add something.
Right,
something offensive firepower wise.
Yeah, no, we gotta get something on the offense. I think Horton is good after the catch. He could be a decent downfield threat. He's not like a burner, but he certainly has that in his game. I thought Colorado State used him way too much, just like on drag routes. Like it was like insane amount of his routes were drag routes. But he's good after the catch. That's why they did it. And also their offensive line was terrible, and they couldn't protect. They couldn't throw it downfield. So I'm not really holding that against him too much. But right here in the fourth round at 124, right off the bat, Ty Robinson's an intriguing option at defensive line. So is Cameron Jackson as just that run stuffing TJ Slayton replacement. He's one of the biggest, just classic run stuffing defensive tackles in the class. Jalen Rivers, Logan Brown. I think Logan Brown's definitely someone the Packers like, or would like, at least the way like his. Who?
Rivers they've met with as well multiple times.
Yeah, they definitely met with Rivers. So again, right now we have Shamar Stewart, Shavon Ravel, Corey Horton. Let's see. Let's just take a look at some positions here, right? So we took corner, we took edge, we took receiver. Defensive line, for me, if we went defensive line, it would be between Robinson and Jackson. Probably Robinson is more Packers type in terms of his athleticism. And then outside of that, then I guess Jalen Rivers would be an option to tackle. What do you think? I think right now. So I was thinking that. I actually did a mock yesterday where I took Jeffrey Bassa on this spot. I don't know if that's who you were talking about, but I don't know if
exactly who I was talking about.
Yeah, he stood out to me at the Senior Bowl and someone that I like. And I think in our defense, I mean, the only question is, after spending a second and a third last year, do they take one in the fourth? But I don't know how they can expect too much from Hopper right now. I don't think they're giving up on him. But
I don't either.
What do you think? You think Bassa here in the fourth, or you go with a run stuffing defensive lineman like Ty Robinson or Cameron Jackson?
I wouldn't be opposed to either. Robinson would be good value for where we're at. If we're talking linebacker, it's like you look at Tyron Hopper. Why do they go out and re-sign McDuffie? Why do they go out and re-sign Welch? If they truly believe that he could step up and be that third backer, I don't think we're having that conversation.
Yeah. No, I mean, and also let's be real. While I don't think teams should be thinking too much about special teams in middle of the third, fourth, fifth round, the Packers clearly do. And Bassa he's like a former safety. He's like kind of like a hybrid. I think he's just someone that his versatility, I think we could use him in our defense. So I would not be opposed to that. The question is, do we just think defensive tackle is just a bigger need right now? So for me, it's between Robinson and Bassa. Where are you leaning between those two?
Losing Slayton's actually we're gonna need to replace a lot more snaps than I think people realize. He played over 500 snaps for us.
Yeah, and he was probably our best run defender, at least in the middle.
And as much as I would like Bassa, I don't know. I mean, both classes are deep. So, either way, there's going to be value later in the draft for D-line or linebacker.
That is true, but I do feel like I like Robinson a kind of like much more. I mean, truth is, I love Aeneas Peebles, which I think you know. I just don't think Robinson here if for that.
Well, here I'll defer to you on this one because you deferred to me first and third, so I'll let you do second and fourth.
All right. I'm thinking Robinson because I don't think any linebacker now is basically just going to be a special teamer. While I think you draft a defensive tackle now, he might actually play some valuable snaps for you as a run defender. And Robinson actually had 6 sacks last year, so we bring some pass rush juice as well. All right, into the fifth round. Moving pretty fast.
Bolstered right back up by adding Shamar Stewart and then Ty Robinson, because then you have Wood in back, you have Brooks, Clark, Wyatt. Your D line room is looking good.
Is Tanner Mordecai that quarterback from Wisconsin.
Yeah, the one that transferred to SMU again.
No, I honestly I feel like I mean I know him obviously, but I have not been following his transfer tales. But yeah, Tanner Mordecai, future Packer star, very possibly. But we just we just missed out on Bassa, and I've been getting hearing some more hype for Jack Kaiser, linebacker out of Notre Dame, who had a really good Senior Bowl week, which I'm sure you remember. Are you a Kaiser guy? Would you feel like this would be a good fallback option after missing out on Bassa?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kaiser. I wasn't until seeing him at the Senior Bowl, and then I started digging into his film deeper, and I was like, okay, that Senior Bowl opened a lot of different options up compared to what I thought we were gonna do. And that's kind of, I think, why everything's getting so much harder, because there's certain guys that rose so much during this offseason process that it's like, oh, these guys
Yeah.
became Packer guys through the offseason.
I look back, I always like to look at my mocks that I do right after the NFL season and see the difference, what it is, and just a few names.
Where did I got
Consistently, my third or fourth round pick. Now he seems to be. Am I broken up again?
A little bit. You are in and out, but
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why my Wi-Fi has not been great. It's really been giving me an issue all day, so sorry about that. But I was saying, I like to look back at the mock drafts I do right after the season, and kind of see that crazy difference in the rankings and where guys go. So Derek Harmon was a guy I was drafting in the third or fourth round. Now he seems like he's a lock to be a first round pick. There was a couple edge rushers and also guys that I took way earlier that are now much later picks. So there's a huge amount of difference over the last month or two in some of these rankings. So, but would you say Kaiser? I think he also would probably fit in, help out on special teams. Craig Woodson, I've actually seen Packer fans talk about. I don't think we need a safety so much, but as a potential special teams option. Any other position you want me to take a look at here?
Go to the linebacker board again.
Yeah, let's take a look at who we got. Kaiser, King, Cody Lindenberg. I don't know why. I mean, I feel like after the Senior Bowl, there was all this hype around him, and now I basically see him as a 7th round pick / undrafted guy. I didn't expect that to be the case, but anyone here sticking out to you other than Kaiser?
Seen a lot of Kobe King mocked to us. Seen a lot of Shamar James mocked to us. So any of those three are sticking out.
Was Shamar James your guy at the Senior Bowl, or am I totally making that up?
No, he was. He
still
was,
is, right?
I'm still high on Shamar. I'm still high on Shamar.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a great linebacker. He's a very speedy linebacker. So allowing Cooper and Quay to kind of clean up the middle and let him roam and make plays, I could see that.
All right. I mean, Shamar James last year, 50 tackles. 13 missed tackles, but something he could definitely clean up. So if we go inside linebacker, the question is, do we think he'll be here at our next pick? Maybe not.
I think he'll be there at the next pick. That's why I was just looking at depth.
What do you think about Chase Lunt? I feel like I've seen him get mocked to us a couple times. Actually, I'm sorry. That's 6'8", which number one, that is insane. But we don't really draft tackles above 6'6", at least according to Caleb Rogers. I think Caleb Rogers could easily be the pick. He's someone that is just a perfect Packer fit. I keep seeing Packer people talk about him. And at this point in the draft, for anyone who's oh, you're going down the list, rankings, number one, NFL team draft boards look nothing like this, and the rankings could be totally different. Last year we drafted Travis Glover. I don't even think he was in the mock draft simulator. I don't even know if anyone knew who he was, and we drafted him in the 5th or 6th round. So I think Caleb Rogers, or if you want to go with your guy, I think Shamar James will be there at the next pick. You want to go with the tackle here?
I think so. Speaking of that, I just wanted to look up Evan Williams. I looked up the consensus of his draft stock. It was 6th to 7th round last year, and we took him in the 4th. So At this point on day 3,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
taking the guys that you think and you're fully believing in them to live up to
yeah.
better than their projection.
Like
So
in general, yeah, I get. I'm not too caught up in any sort of consensus big board and where we draft a guy. Like every year for Packer Report, I always like the whole team kind of works together to get up all the information on picks as soon as possible. And it just happens to be that every year I'm always like fine where they board. And you'd be shocked at how quickly we draft a guy that can't find on this big board or that big board, or I could find him, but he's number 100 and drafted for. That's how it works. It doesn't mean that player is trash or not worth anything. So you want to go here. So let's go. We got to, yeah, I feel like we got to get a tackle here at some point. I mean, Rodgers could easily potentially be there at our next pick. We just drafted a defensive tackle. I'm skipping out on, forgetting on that we should be taking a look at. Luke Kandra is a possible interior lineman option.
yeah, I think we're good.
You want to go for Dante Thornton, a little speed threat. I don't think it's out of the question that we draft 2 receivers. We have a lot of free agent receivers coming up.
Mm-hmm. I think
Andrew Armstrong, big fan of Andrew Armstrong. Let's just take a look at receiver real quick. I feel like we gotta get going. We still have 4 picks to go here.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you thinking? I'm thinking either tackle, or if we want to get a little nuts and grab a deep threat receiver, that could be an option. Where do you feel?
Yeah, I would say probably take a tackle here.
Okay.
Unless you really believe in Jalen Lane or Dante Thornton to be better than that tackle, then
No, truth is, I'm fine to wait till the next round and try to grab Andrew Armstrong. And I also just think you want to go Caleb Rogers. I just think Caleb Rogers is a good classic Packer. I'll grab him here. Yeah.
yeah. And
All
we
right.
always tend
Caleb
to
Rogers.
we just tend to not even look at the rankings, at least these rankings. We just go get our guys. So
Yeah.
that seems like a very Packer
No,
type
at
pick.
this point, yeah. I mean, at this point, no rankings, at least to me, really matter. Let's just see. All right, we missed out on basically all of those receivers. Very sad stuff. Elijah Badger, just random. I've seen like 2 people in the last week have him as like a top 5 receiver in the draft. Like very high on Elijah Badger. He is someone that I think would fit very much what the Packers like to do. I don't think he's out of the question. Upton Stout, someone I really liked at the Senior Bowl. I just don't really think he's a Packer type. I think he's a little bit too small.
Yeah, unfortunately.
If we wanted, we didn't end up taking an inside linebacker, right? I mean, here we are through 5 rounds. A little update: Shamar Stewart, Siobhan Ravel, Torrey Horton, Ty Robinson, and Caleb Rogers, tackle out of Texas Tech. So we have not taken an inside linebacker. Let's see what we have there. Cody Simon, Cody Lindenberg, Jay Higgins. Anyone here that you feel like the Packers would like or that you like?
Lindenberg shot himself up at the Senior Bowl ranking wise, like you kind of said. Jay Higgins, I've seen mentioned with us a few times. Otherwise, as far as receiver, you said Elijah Badger, but also his teammate Chamiri Dike has been rising up a lot of people's boards as well. I've seen a lot of people thinking he's going to be a 4th-round pick now. So
yeah, no, I've seen like when it gets brought up that these guys were so high on Badger, people in response said that they like DK more than Badger. So because I feel like once we get past them too, it really thins out. So between Badger and DK, you're a DK guy, right?
I would say so, yeah. Just because of the size that he's got.
Let's go. 6'1", 195 last year, 783 yards, only 2 touchdowns, but I'm less concerned about touchdowns as I am volume stats. So let's go DK here in the 6th round, right? 6th round. And now we're getting to the 7th round, our final 2 picks, very late. in this draft. This was a fun area to look at what's left for you. You are the one that thinks running back is a lot more possible than maybe I do. So let's see though what we got here.
Yeah,
Taj
then
Brooks
again,
guy.
how desperate teams get.
What?
Yeah. I said depending on how desperate teams get and how often they're selected, but there's a lot of talk that there's some guys with draftable grades that might have to go the UDFA route, and that's just how deep this class is. So if you're sitting there in the 7th round and it's like, okay, you really like a guy, I could see it, like a Woody Marks type guy or a who else is here?
Woody
Taj Brooks.
Marks is gone. Taj Brooks is there. I have seen a lot of love for Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, by the way. I've seen him like in top 12, top 15 at running back for certain people. I don't know
And
if you've
that's
had a
what I mean.
chance
That's
to
how
watch
deep
him.
this class is. That's just how
Yeah,
deep
no,
every Ali
it's a
Gordon's
crazy
still
deep class. We do have another pick and 13 picks. So if you feel like all these running backs are similar, maybe we wait till the last pick, unless you do have a bigger opinion on any single one of them. Do
No,
you?
I think we're good to go elsewhere for now.
All right, I think we could grab running back with the last pick. Jackson Slater is someone I've seen linked as like an option, interior lineman.
Really like Jackson Slater.
I like Mac McWilliams. I don't know if he'll fit all of our thresholds, but I really liked his tape, and I also liked what we saw at the Senior Bowl from him. I don't think corner is out of the question to double up on. So what do you think? I'm thinking either Jackson Slater or Mac McWilliams for me, if it was between those two. But anyone else you're seeing here you want to bring up?
I mean, we've been looking at linebacker. Lindenberg's still there, but I think between the three, that Slater matches our thresholds the most.
Okay. No, I like Slater, and I think
Because
he
he's
is
got the
someone that,
versatility.
yeah, I mean, his snaps, look, he's got, left guard, left tackle. Definitely someone I think the Packers would like. So let's grab him. And it's also just classic Packers. They always like to grab offensive lineman late. And now here we go. Taj Brooks is still there. We missed out on Lindenberg. Jay Higgins is there. But if you want to grab a running back with this last pick, still plenty of options. Brooks, Gordon, Krosky Merritt. Are you a Brooks guy?
I'd say out of the ones available that he fits us the best.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think about this running back spot? I mean, I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm content with Jacobs, Lloyd, Wilson, Brooks. Like, we have plenty of solid backs. I just think value-wise, that there's a chance that we do take a shot.
So I definitely think it's possible, again, just because of how good the class is. The question is,
really
at this point, like, do we think any of these guys out, let's say Brooks, right, who's probably fourth of the group, could they beat him out? I don't know. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think Chris Brooks is like some sort of roster lock, but I do think they liked him. I do think they liked what he did as a pass protector. So, but to be honest, look, at this point, anyone drafting, it's a total, lottery ticket. Fadil Diggs is like I have seen the Packers, 8 sacks. He's kind of just like a pass rush specialist, not very good against the run, but someone that I didn't expect to see available this late, honestly. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Hear me out on the quarterback spot. You know,
Ooh,
that's
all
kind of
right,
what
let's go.
we've been kind of liking to try to find value at the end and trade him out. So that's always
I do expect Malik Willis, he's only on contract for one more year. So assuming they don't re-sign Malik Willis, because I think he's going to want a shot to start somewhere, they're going to need a backup quarterback. It's not crazy. Anyone who you must be talking about someone in specific, unless you're not. But
I was just seeing if Taylor Elgersma was there because we just met with him and had him on a top 30 the other day.
He is not here. I wonder though. I wonder if he's in the mock draft simulator. Like, do you think he was definitely drafted?
I don't know because people have him ranked very differently. I just thought it was interesting that we had him on a top 30, especially for him being as low as he is rankings wise. I mean, you had enough to fly him in, you know.
Yeah, but he must not be here because I'm already in the 5th round and I haven't seen him in the 5th round. He's probably just not in it because he's from Canada.
Right.
Nothing against Canada, just saying like he probably just didn't do it.
All right.
But so yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, none of those quarterbacks I think are like
They don't stick out.
sometimes right to the 7th he has like a really fun arm. He needs to put it together. I'm not really seeing that here. So yeah, I think I would either go with whichever one is your favorite running back, or I would just grab Fadil Diggs as just like a pass rush rotational kind of guy. But I can definitely be talked into running back if you have someone specific.
So when you're talking about Fadil Diggs, I'm like, how many guys do you add into your rotation if you're gonna try to let Van Ness develop this year? If you think
No,
this
that's
is his
true, and we did take Jamar Stewart.
right.
That is
That's the
true.
only reason
Uh,
I'm like,
no, that's fair. Fine, so let's go running back. I think at the end of the day, always need to add to that room. It's a very susceptible room. I don't even want to put it out in the universe, but running backs, they're more fragile, let's say, than other positions. So you're talking Taj Brooks here. That's your guy in the 7th.
scroll down just a tad, just to make sure.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm not some sort of running back savant. I never claimed to be, but I'm kind of surprised that Donovan Edwards is ranked as low as he is, considering he has had some success at college. Not like insane, but I didn't expect it to be this low. But either way,
and quite honestly,
so yeah,
I think, I think in most drafts he's probably a fourth, fifth round back. Again, that's just how deep this class is. I mean, you look at someone like Cam Scadabo, and he's like RB 5 to 10 on people's boards, and it's like he was fifth in the Heisman.
yeah, no, it's a crazy running back class. It's probably, I mean, it's definitely the best running back class that I can remember when I was really diving into the draft. It's the best one that I've seen. So
Oh, definitely. I only had
um,
22 gradable or draftable running backs last year, and I have 34 this year.
yeah, there's
So
just a ton. So who do you have higher? Who do you have highest that's remaining on your list?
let me look real quick.
I'll just say real quick while you're looking it up. When I was watching Caleb Rogers' tape, I saw a lot of Taj Brooks, and I did like what I saw. Again, I wasn't watching him specifically because I have not paid a ton of attention to running. Like I've watched running backs, but I haven't gone as deep at running back as other positions. It's not as much of a need. But I do like Taj Brooks. But I don't know. There's like a ton of Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt love, like deep in the draft sphere. So he was obviously hurt
Yeah,
last year.
I'd be good with
But
um either Brooks or Merritt. I have both of them as sixth rounders, at least film like gradable film wise. So
all right. I don't know. I believe it's Krosky Merritt who had that whole thing with like his transfer. He transferred and then he wasn't eligible. Like I think he had to sit out the whole year last year because of some ridiculous eligibility thing. Here, let's see. He's 24. If Taj Brooks is younger, let's go with him, which he probably is. Yeah, Brooks is below 23. So let's go Brooks just for the age. I think they're close enough. You agree? We'll go Brooks here with the last pick.
yeah, we can go Brooks. Finish her out.
All right, there you go. Number 250 overall. PFF grade. We all know whatever grade PFF puts here, that's how you know if it was a good draft. If it's anything less than an A, we failed miserably. And it's a B. Oh my gosh, what a terrible, terrible waste of our. But
Caleb
no, in all
Rogers,
seriousness, let's just run through it real quick. The all 8 picks, no trades in this one. 20 overall, Texas A&M, 54 over Carolina cornerback, 3rd round pick Torrey Horton, wide receiver out of Colorado State, 4th round Ty Robinson, defensive lineman Nebraska, 5th round Caleb Rogers, Texas Tech, offensive tackle, 6th round Chimere Dike, wide receiver out of Florida, 237, 7th round, Jackson Slater, offensive lineman. Finally, 250th overall in the 7th round, running back Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech. Overall, everyone get one last look. I'm going to take this down. It's a draft that I, at the beginning of it, would be nervous because I am just honestly nervous about Shamar Stewart. But by the end of day 2, I would be feeling a lot better with Ravel and Horton being our picks. I also think Robinson is a really good value in the 4th. So overall, that is a draft that I would certainly not complain about. Did that turn out mostly the way most of your mocks have gone? Any major regrets in any of those picks?
I mean, it really just depends on what the front office is going to value as wide receiver over corner or over edge. I mean, those first 2 picks are just so ideal for that 3rd pick because you don't know what's going to drop off, like
Yeah.
receiver. I mean, I think we both can agree is pretty top heavy. I mean, you have your value guys in the 2nd and 3rd, but depending on how the board falls, that 3rd round pick, you might not have those guys that you thought were going to be there. And that's same
Yeah.
with corner. For edge,
No,
I'm like, I feel comfortable no matter where we take an edge as long as it's in the first 3 picks. So
yeah.
it's just like if Shamar's at 23, that's a very Packer-like pick. So whether we like it, whether we don't like it, I mean, how many people had us taking Jordan Morgan last year,
Yeah. Again, Stewart, I mean, I feel like it's a little different than Morgan only because I don't think anyone will be surprised. I just think people will be upset as opposed to Morgan. I think they were surprised and upset.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, like, number one, there's 2 things about the Packers draft in general that I've just kind of accepted. One is that I trust them way more than I trust my own evaluations. Like, obviously, I have my opinions. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I probably know more than the entire staff of the Green Bay Packers. Like, no, I probably don't. So I'm just going to trust them more. But also, I get more upset when based on position than specific player. Like, if we just completely ignore edge, that's going to really bother me, as opposed to if we draft Shamar Stewart, who maybe I'm not the highest on, but okay, we addressed edge, and clearly you guys think this guy is going to work out. So I'll just have to put my faith in it. But at least you drafted an edge. And like when it comes to corner, I think corner is definitely a need, especially with Jair probably leaving. I hope. I mean, I think if you don't draft a corner by the 2nd pick, you basically might as well not draft one, at least not till later in the draft. It's just the way I see it. But we're coming up on almost an hour here, Alex. So as we just finish up, any final thoughts for Packer fans as we head into the draft in less than 2 days at this point?
Well, first of all, I'll say we'll both be up there. So if you see us out and about, say hi. First of all.
Yes,
And then
definitely.
secondly, let's hope we come out of it happy. Let's hope we come out of it with a better understanding of our edge group, our D-line group, our corner group, and our receiver room. Whatever the way the board falls, I hope we improve at all 4 of those. I really do. But
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a good draft.
Yeah, it seems, I mean, like you said, and we've been talking about this whole time, is that no one knows what the hell's going to happen in this draft. As high as the 4th, 5th pick, I feel like we're basically completely in unknown territory. All expert mock drafts are going to be thrown out the window. Who knows? I haven't seen like Brian Baldinger be a big news breaker, but he just posted a video on Twitter about an hour ago saying that there's some crazy, huge blockbuster trade in the top 5. Who knows if that's true? But it's going to be a wild draft. And like Alex said, anyone going out there in Green Bay, if you see us out there, say hello, say what's up, give us your opinions. And yeah, just in general, I hope everyone who's going out there has a great time. I'm very much obviously looking forward to it. I'm going to head up there Thursday morning, so I'll be a little bit later than Alec, but I'll be up there. Everyone, again, we'll do like a draft recap kind of thing. We'll see how the weekend goes. I'm not going to put too much planning into it because I really have no idea how this weekend's going to look. So I don't want to like put anything on the books, but you can find us on Twitter where we will update you at Alec _332, right? Yeah. And then at Book of Eli _NFL. But for everyone who tuned in, watched, we appreciate it. And we will see you out there in Green Bay, everyone. Go Pack, go.
Go back, go.